There is an absolute typically when it comes to college football. And that is if you leave one school for another, it's not a lateral move. It's usually a step up. If you're an assistant coach, it's to a coordinator. If it's a coordinator, to a head coach. Now, when there are lateral moves, there's a lot of different reasons because that maybe your head coach left. The one thing, and I had to read the headline 15,000 times because I didn't think it was right, is Chip Kelly leaving UCLA as their head coach to be an offensive coordinator at Ohio State. That to me was absolutely bizarro. Caleb, what do you make of it and what that says about where Ohio State is?
I don't understand the move behind this. As a matter of fact, I think he's taking a pay cut.
He is.
Yes, he's taking a pay cut to go to Ohio State. So he's making a lateral move and taking a pay cut. And by the way, UCLA's in the Big Ten this year. So it's not like he's going to a smaller.
It's not like you went up from Conference USA to the SEC.
Yeah, exactly. And so the rumor is just that there's something that makes he's very upset with UCLA reportedly about something. And I don't know what is causing this. I don't know why he's so upset with UCLA, but I hear reports that he is upset with UCLA. I think he could possibly be targeting Ohio State to try to get Ryan. I think Ryan Day's in big trouble. Let's just put it out there. Ryan Day's in trouble, and I think Chip Kelly is breathing up his shoulder and wants the Ohio State job. That's my theory.
Remember two things. Ohio State paid big money to get the buyout. They paid the buyout. Okay. So they wanted to get him. It was about a $1.5 million buyout just to get him. So they wanted him. They were motivated. Ryan Day, he already had one coordinator leave, right?
Bill O'Brien left to take the head coaching job at Boston College.
Yeah, which you understand taking a head coaching job. But Bill O'Brien is another former head coach. I'll go ahead and tell you that if you're Ohio State, you're not going out and getting Bill O'Brien's and Chip Kelly's to be coordinators, guys with head coaching experience, unless you're considering, hey, this Ryan Day thing might not work out. And when you start saying this Ryan Day thing might not work out, Ryan Day hears that and realizes that you're hiring a head coach as an offensive coordinator, and he feels that. It then erodes whatever power he might have. The Ohio State thing is going to end ugly. I will just go ahead and tell you right now, it's going to end ugly.
Yeah. And we predicted this a mile out last year with Jimbo Fisher and Bobby Petrino, didn't we? When they brought in Bobby Petrino. And so I think this one's worse because I think they're literally trying to hire Ryan Day's replacement. I talked with Dave over the weekend. This is exactly what the Cowboys did when Jerry Jones brought in, oh, wow, a Capri Sun. You're drinking a Capri Sun?
Keep talking. You're not supposed to look at the message board. Yeah, someone asked me if I was drinking a Capri Sun. No, it's just a big Petros cup. Go ahead.
This is exactly what the Cowboys did when they hired Jason Garrett as an assistant to Wade Phillips, and Jerry Jones paid Jason Garrett the same amount of money he was paying Wade Phillips. At that point, Wade Phillips knew 175% that he was fired and Jason Garrett was going to be the head coach. And I think this is a situation similar with Ohio State. And now the other point is, look, maybe Chip Kelly knew he was about to get fired from UCLA and he wanted to bolt before he actually got fired. And so it's not on his resume that he got fired from a college head coaching job and that his magic and luster has faded. I think you and I both agree that offense is not as cutting edge as it was in 2011 or 2012. It's just not.
Well, absolutely not. No, it's not. It's not anywhere close. I don't think it's been cutting edge since he's been at UCLA. Do you?
No, I don't. I think he's just been okay, but I don't think he's been that impressive. And it's in large part due to the fact that, I think that he hasn't really changed. He firmly believes he's the smartest guy in the room and that he doesn't have to change, similar to somebody like Rick Barnes. But that's a different story. And so I think that it's getting the best of him. I think his arrogance is actually getting the best of him on that. And I think that's the problem.
Well, I mean, that's what he coaches. I wouldn't necessarily expect him to start coaching something completely different, would you?
No, I would not expect him to start coaching something completely different. But I think it's gonna. Now we can see how it works at Ohio State. You know, Chip Kelly is not a big fan of recruiting, and so he's struggling to get the talent at UCLA. You don't have to work that hard to get the talent at Ohio State, and that's the truth. So the talent will be there. Maybe he's excited about what he could work with at Ohio State when it comes to talent. So I think that's where that could be what he's thinking, and particularly if he's promoted to head coach, then he could easily find talent. You don't have to be a good recruiter to be good at Ohio State.
So if I made you choose between these two possibilities, Ohio State is desperate to get somebody to help / succeed Ryan Day. So they got Chip Kelly because that had to happen. Or Chip Kelly is on the downside of his career and he wants less responsibility. If I made you pick one of those two, what would it be?
The former. I don't think Chip Kelly would have gone to the NFL if he wanted less responsibility. So it's Ohio State. They are naming Chip Kelly the coach in waiting. This is what this is.
I think it is too. I think it's as clear as day.
Yeah.
Ryan Day.
It absolutely is. And by the way, you know what's looking really bad? The NFL success of Ohio State players under Ryan Day is hurting his case right now. I mean, the guy had C.J. Stroud throwing to Marvin Harrison Jr. and couldn't beat Michigan. That looks really bad right now, doesn't it? Almost as bad as having Peyton Manning and Jamal Lewis in the backfield and not being able to beat Florida. But that's a different story. But yes, it's it looks really bad.
He is a coach in waiting. He doesn't appear. There's a difference. You could see Urban Meyer at the end of it. He was ready to get away. He looked fatigued. He looked tired. Now, see, here's where Smoky Mountain Red and I might disagree. He says Ryan Day's desperate. I think Ohio State's desperate for an exit plan.
That's exactly what it is. Because Ryan Day wouldn't have given up play calling duties, honestly. If Ryan Day's not a play caller, what is he as a coach? That's like Heupel not being a play caller, isn't it? Like that's their calling card.
You know what this is? This is a more accomplished Dave Clawson hire. Because you've got an offensive coach that's always going to be looking over your shoulder. Now, Chip Kelly is 100 times better of a coach than Dave Clawson, but who's actually turned out to be a very respectable coach. But yeah, this is where constantly you're having your shoulder looked over, and that's not a comfortable feeling to be in.
No, that's not a comfortable feeling to be in at all. And there's going to be dynamics that don't work too between the two coaches. I mean, it's not as vast. Because Dave Clawson had a spread. Fulmer's out here wanting to run the traditional pro style. I mean, that just clashed like nobody's business. And I don't know if you've ever had two different, more competing philosophies come together, right? I would have seen more of that had Bill O'Brien stayed Ohio State's offensive coordinator because he's more of a pro style guy. But I think Chip Kelly and Ryan Day could have a bit better of a marriage. But look, I will tell you guys this. Be a little scared if Chip Kelly becomes head coach at Ohio State if you're a Tennessee fan. Because I think Ohio State falling apart is going to give Tennessee a bit of a pipeline into that state for a couple of years.
Yeah, I think Chip Kelly actually can still be an elite coach, even though his offense isn't as great as it once was. But he's done enough to me to think he could get into a 12-team college football playoff at Ohio State, right?
Absolutely, and and Ohio State's going to have the talent for him to pick from easily. Oh, the state of Ohio.
Also wonder how much NIL played into it. I don't think that was a lot of fun.